Laugh Factory Network.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Who am I? You sure you want to know?
What does that make us? Sidekicks?
It's the Trusty Sidekick podcast with your hosts, Jay Washington, Bobby Hill. What's happening, everybody? We are back. It is episode 79 of the Trusty Sidekick podcast with me, your resident supervillain, Mr. Jay Washington.
And me, your resident superhero, Bobby Hill.
Oh, shit. Okay. That was
hot as fuck. What up?
That was loud as shit, so I'm going to turn you down a little.
I'm in your ear space. What up, motherfuckers?
You're kind of aggressive on it, I think.
Just coming right in here, back for the first time, for the last time, for the first time again.
I mean, what do you think you are, ludicrous or some shit? I mean, it is what it is. Man, it's been a week and a half or so since we recorded last. We were at
C2E2.
We were at C2E2 in Chicago, man. Thank you to everybody who stopped us, to showed love, man. Everybody we got a chance to meet and hang with.
J Famous Washington, what up?
Hey, man, I'm just an average black dude that does dope shit. Got a chance to talk to Yetedi Badaki from
who?
Yetedi Badaki from American Gods.
I wanted to hear you say it twice. Was the only reason I asked.
Okay,
I got you.
You're a dickhead.
I'm just a dickhead.
She's super cool, man. Got a chance to talk to her. Met a lot of cool people out there, man. So it's always fun. It's amazing how much that convention has grown.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because it started out relatively small, but now it's grown in its popularity, and people are coming out, and it's bringing in more people from a lot of different places. Sci-Fi was there broadcasting live. That was kind of dope.
Yeah, they had some great interviews there. I got to see Mark Miller there, who, although he's not doing anything with Marvel and DC, did sell 17 franchises to Netflix, which are all in production right now. Mm-hmm. So he's a multimillionaire. There was a great panel that I got to see with some of the cast of Legends of Tomorrow. I got to see Brandon Ruth get asked a question about the 9 Lives of Christmas movie that he did. So someone asked him about his relationship with the cat. That was a real question.
Wow.
I got to see Dominic Purcell not really want to be involved at all.
At all? Dude. Dude, I saw... I saw another one they did, and it was like, he was just like, I'm here, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. There's some great cosplay going on, although there was another... Heroes and Villains was also was it Heroes and Villains?
Heroes and Villains
that weekend also.
Yeah, it was also going on, and Walker Stalker.
Yeah, so the attention was a little diverted over the weekend,
which, for my opinion, is really dumb on any of those other. I don't care, anyone pick any.
You're
of
missing money.
Like I think C2E2 like announced it the next day. Heroes and Villains or something like that, or supposedly they said they all announced at the same time. But C2E2 always announces their next dates at the convention already. I feel like, you should just wait a week or so. Push back or push up a week.
Yeah, you got time. I mean, why would you do them all in the same
Yeah, because you miss out on
yourself.
A bunch of people that could come out and support and spend money. A lot of vendors lose out on a chance to make double what they could have possibly made.
Yep.
So, I mean, that was that, man. But
you have people that do cosplay for both weekends.
Oh, yeah, and people who do only go solely to do the cosplay. Which, by the way, I seen some pretty dope costumes.
Did you have a favorite?
What was my favorite? There was somebody as an Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Somebody was just the Infinity Gauntlet.
Just a gauntlet, just walking around.
Just walking around as a gauntlet. That was one of my favorites. I know you saw a lot that you liked, and a couple you had some commentary on.
Yeah, there was a cool Captain America Hydra crew that was running around. It was Captain America in full Hydra gear. There was a really cool 1960s version of Batman that was walking around with a Catwoman with a couple of her bodyguards with her, which was pretty good. It's always fun to watch people try and squeeze in the costumes. I just think it just goes to show, even if you got superpowers, you'd still look pretty shitty in whatever outfit you put together. You know what I mean? Because even people that were in decent shape, even in skin tight costumes, you're like, yeah, but maybe you shouldn't show us all how close this is to your body.
That's why they say the camera adds 10 pounds, because it tells you how tiny people are, first and foremost.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, yeah, I mean, we might as well we got a lot. I mean, you want to tell us what...
There's plenty to cover.
There's plenty to cover. So let's kick off with some recent Marvel news. It's just broke recently. For an Infinity War.
We're skipping DC.
Yeah, we're going to do Marvel because this is just broke right now. For Infinity War, it has been released who are playing the members of the Black Order. So, one of the biggest ones is Proxima Midnight. Now, she is one of the members, and who is playing her and voice actressing her is Carrie Coon.
Right.
Now, if you're a fan of
The Leftovers,
a fan of Fargo and things like that, this will be a very, very good one for you.
that's a big win.
I had the ones for the
John Taylor Vaughn is playing Ebony Maw.
Yeah, John Taylor Vaughn's Ebony Maw, and they have who's doing Corvus Glaive. They also have Corvus Glaive out too. I've got to find out which one that is. But it is actually turning out to be this is beyond a star-studded lineup. I've got a Carrie
Coon is a big win for them for sure.
That is a major win for them indeed. I just had it in a damn ad just popped up on my screen. Terry Notary is going to be Cull Obsidian. Tom Von Layer is Ebony Maw. Those are the ones that they've announced. And I don't know. I can't find the Corvus Glaive one right now. So that's going to be interesting. But nonetheless, this movie comes out in a week, a little over a week.
Are you ready?
I don't know if I can be, dude. I don't. You know what? I'll be honest. I had so much excitement built up for Black Panther because, of course, everyone knows how I feel. It was a character you never thought you would see in the big screen in a major blockbuster film. But then you get Infinity War, and it's a culmination of 10 years worth of movies leading to one gigantic event. Because remember, at the end of Avengers 1, they teased Thanos.
Right. And
we thought that was the villain for the second one. And they said, no, we're going to forego that and, just wait. Mm-hmm. They gave us Ultron, which Age of Ultron was like, yeah. But they said, we're going to wait. And it's been building up to this one big bad guy. And you start seeing the trailers and you're like, oh, this is going to be real.
Yeah, I think, as is evidenced by where I start listing my favorite of the Marvel Universe, the Russo brothers have really been able to put together a solid arc of movies going through from the time they first started till now. And I think they're really seeing the fruition of what these first 10 years have been about. The most earthly... The Earth leading into space, essentially, has been what this has been about. The very change in what the universe is from the introduction of Iron Man in that movie to where we are now. And I think, they're setting the stage for a long road ahead still for Marvel. I mean, there's no reason that this would have to change from here. They can continue on in a number of different directions.
Do you want the Russos to stay in this universe and continually just handle the Avengers movies or the Captain America films or venture out and do other projects in the MCU?
I would like to see what their talents are best utilized for. So far their movies have been, like with Winter Soldier, it was very much that political thriller style of deal.
It was a great espionage film.
If there's another style of espionage movie, I would love to see. I'd love to see them involved in the Black Widow solo film. That's the people I would like to see.
So you'd rather see the Russos over Taika Waititi?
Simply because I think the idea of Black Widow as an espionage type of character, I would see the Russos do a solo Hawkeye film. Honestly,
Fuck a Hawkeye.
I know you hate Hawkeye.
Yo, I think
here's the thing. I don't think we need a Hawkeye film. I'm just saying if somebody was going to do one, I think the Russos version would be the one I'd want to see. There are things I wouldn't need to see them do. Like I could care less about them doing a Doctor Strange movie. You know what I mean? Like that's not the thing that I would expect them to be doing.
Right.
But if Falcon did an offshoot movie that dealt with some type of political type shit going on, or
so you want to see them just solely deal with any type of political based type film?
I like. Well, here's the thing. I like the movie that they made that was based on that. I think this is going to be a good example to see how they do in a very broad epic style movie.
Okay.
I would be happy to see them come back and do another.
If they fuck this up. Like,
do you think that's a thing?
I don't. But if
does anybody anybody right now expecting this movie?
Absolutely
not.
Absolutely not. I'm just using this as a general.
Right. If they fuck this up.
If
they Ava DuVernay Wrinkle in Time this movie.
Yo, nigga. Anyway, so the Eternals is rumored to be announced soon. Now, if you don't know, the Eternals are a Jack Kirby creation. This was right after the New Gods.
Right.
Okay. And the Eternals are kind of the parents of Thanos.
Yeah, so New Gods, if you're familiar, is the DC property that just got greenlit with the aforementioned Ava DuVernay as the director of the movie. And the New Gods was a series that Kirby created for DC that included Darkseid. Obviously, interesting enough, the Eternals is a very similar group of superpowered beings that were created by the Celestials, an offshoot of humanity, essentially. Thanos is a child of some of the Eternal race that's there. So there is a potential tie-in here. Obviously, this is kind of interesting that this is a rumor that's coming out shortly after the New Gods production idea that has been launched from the DC side. Marvel on a little copycat binge maybe for once instead of reading the chart.
This is going to bring up to something we're going to talk about a little bit later when we get into the DC TV shows. But do you think Marvel and DC are fucking with each other, going tit for tat on shit?
I think so. I think there's a little bit of friendly, it's not direct, but there's a little bit of friendly back and forth.
It's like, oh, you gonna do this?
Okay, we'll do this.
All right, we'll do this. Yeah, okay.
So, and I'm fine with that. The idea, the concept here about the Eternals, these are beings that can't really be hurt by much. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm interested to see what that is, but I think it's one of those things where it's like I could think of 15 other characters we could do stories on before we get to these guys. But sure, okay, whatever.
Also, in the Marvel universe, but it's Fox based, there's a new Deadpool 2 trailer, and there is a little bit of controversy, if you will, or is this real? Because there is supposedly a still that is going around because it's a quick shot,
Right.
of Colossus punching what many believe to be Juggernaut.
Or it's a bell.
Or it's a tank. Here's my thing with this. Vinnie Jones did a relatively decent Juggernaut in X-Men The Last Stand.
Despite that one line that
Everybody, because the shit was so popular, to go, on the Juggernaut, bitch.
Right.
Like, all right.
It's one of those, it was the what are those moment.
Shit, it sure was. Like, what are those? But I think it came off weird hearing Vinnie Jones say it. And,
it's kind of dumb to try and shoehorn memes into movies.
well,
Let it just be a thing.
I mean, but if it works, it works.
I guess.
I think the shit works well in Black Panther.
Oh, you liked it in Black Panther.
Hell, the way she did it, because you never would expect her to go, what are those? I hollered in the theater.
Yeah, so I personally don't think it's Juggernaut.
Okay.
I'd be fine if it was. I just think it's an interesting time to introduce Juggernaut into this with everything going on. Who knows though? I mean, it could be. Good. Let's introduce them all, and then once Marvel has control, we can just slide them right on over into the old MCU, and we can make some shit happen. I want Secret Wars now.
Okay, because that's more than likely what we're getting for Avengers 4. Speaking of the X-Men coming over into the Marvel universe, X-Men Dark Phoenix. Now, again, I know this movie shouldn't even be fucking happening.
They should probably stop
this
shit,
right? Ladies and gentlemen, listen. If you have not heard this before or heard me talk about it, this is some shit that just like, why did you not realize what the fuck you did with X-Men Apocalypse? That shit was horrible. That shit was an abomination.
You disagree?
Nigga, it was just bad. And now X-Men Dark Phoenix, of course, has been pushed back along with the New Mutants. We'll talk about that in a hot second. But now there is a question as well as to what in the hell is Jessica Chastain doing?
Yeah, there's been so many questions as to whether or when or where Mr. Sinister is going to pop up, and now the rumor is that it's possible that Jessica Chastain is actually playing a gender-swapped version of Mr. Sinister. That was a rumor that came from Popcorn Talk originally.
All right, let me ask you this question. How you feel about it? Now, a lot of people, and I'm going to ask you to keep, Nick, again, if you don't know what this podcast is, we keep shit all the way 100. It is the realest talk about nerd shit you probably going to get.
Man, let me tell you straight up.
Straight up.
Fuck this idea.
Okay, Fuck
this idea. There are plenty of great female characters that you can use. I don't understand the point of this. I don't think, and this is not from a standpoint of trying to maintain the male character of Mr. Sinister. This is the idea of trying to, I think it lessens the idea of Jessica Chastain if she's playing a female version of a male character in this, when there are other female characters that she could easily be. I don't know what's wrong with Lilandra. I thought that was a great idea.
I thought that was the greatest fucking idea.
That was sharp when that was going on. There's plenty of evil female characters that she can play that I think are valuable, that they can elevate. I think the idea of trying to make her play a male character takes away from the power that she has as a woman to have her own character that's worthwhile.
I'm on a different level from you with that one, and here's why.
What level are you? Are you on level 2 or level 6?
6.
Of course. I knew there was no way in hell you'd take it.
You know those. Look, every other character has names that can be applied to either gender. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This character is known as...
Oh, you're going with the most... that's level 2.
Actually. Yeah, okay, that's level 2? Okay. Okay, that's two. I don't
That's
know.
a very simple. That's a very simple.
No, that's the very simplest.
I don't like that it's Mr. and it would have to be Ms.
No, I don't care. Change. It's not just change to Ms. It's just that like, do you become just Sinister or whatever? Because the character.
Or you still go by Mr. Sinister, but you're a woman. That's happened before on shows where they, you know, they have where they purposefully mislead you, where they're like, oh, the cleaner, Mr. Johnson, and then it shows up and it's a woman. And you're like, oh, it's it's supposed to trick everybody.
Yeah, but the thing is with that, it's like,
but who cares? I mean,
the character is Nathaniel Essex,
right?
You know, the whole
the Tanya Essex,
Natalie S. But it's just weird because it's like you can change a Wolverine man or woman. You can change a Cyclops man or woman.
But even with Wolverine, there's an actual female character who became Wolverine, right?
But
like,
yeah,
if there was a female version of Mr. Sinister, I'd be all for this. But I just think when you're already struggling trying to tell versions of X-Men stories that people stick with, you have to try and get closer to the source material, not further from it.
Yep.
And so while I'm all for gender swapping, a lot of times, like, you know, the biggest example being Ghostbusters, they still created 4 new characters. It wasn't the same 4 characters.
It wasn't the same 4 new characters.
So I think that's a better idea than using this. I think it's a waste of both the Mr. Sinister idea and Jessica Chastain's ability.
I think we've all been waiting on Mr. Sinister for so long because we've been teased about it.
The first one to be not the way that you've envisioned it for years. That's not paying homage to anybody.
No. Speaking of movies by Fox that probably shouldn't be happening, but maybe happening on a good note, The New Mutants. It was another one of those films that have been pushed back by Fox. Again, there are a lot of
what is going on with this fucking movie?
So I'm gonna tell you what. This is 2 things. The reason there are reshoots happen on every film. That's a given. But the reshoots that have to happen on both Dark Phoenix and New Mutants are pushed back because a star in each of the movies are in Game of Thrones.
And we've talked about that. I know that. I
think this could be potentially where Fox knows something that they haven't told everybody yet.
Right.
And they might keep pushing it back where it never goes in
because
theaters.
this already tested well. New Mutants tested well.
Right.
And then they still are like, we need to do reshoots. And then Charlie Heaton comes out and says that it's going to be... But it was already, we already knew it. That's not new information.
And then they added Antonio Banderas as a new character as well.
Right. Yeah. But, I mean, you know, now it's going to be a full-fledged horror movie? That's what you said when you were making it the first time.
So what I think is these 2 may actually not be released theatrically. This shit may go on Disney streaming service.
I think that's where it may end up.
I think that's what this is going to be.
They're trying to stall it out and see if there's any chance they can hold it off and not release it. They're not going to release it.
It just go to Disney
if
streaming.
That deal gets done first. The Russo brothers have already hinted at things. They did hint at Secret Wars. They said like if it happened in time, they'd love to do Secret Wars. They're waiting. The people at Marvel that are already working on these properties are like, if we can get these motherfuckers by the time they want to touch all those characters. Elizabeth Olsen was asked about doing a Scarlet Witch solo movie.
And she was like, it was certain things they would need to change.
She wants to do House of M.
She wants to do House of M.
But House of M requires access to the characters they're currently with Fox. So, and I would love to see a version of that. I think she's been largely wasted in the MCU considering who she is. Her introduction was so powerful, and then to have her just kind of like fade into the background as a character, I think has been a failure of the MCU. Actually,
well, I think that what they're doing is building the love affair with her and Vision. Of course, if they make the kids, you know, then.
But you remember in Age of Ultron when that first started, she was fucking hypnotizing Tony Stark. She had those weird ass movements. She would show up and then
she had them Cara Delevingne from Suicide Squad shit.
That shit was dope, but they haven't kept it up, so they didn't get back to that.
Now, at last in our Marvel major news, we're gonna go to Marvel TV, and by that I mean Netflix. Jessica Jones has officially been renewed for a 3rd season.
Surprised?
Yes.
Surprised you didn't think they'd get the 3?
I didn't know how because this season has not been received as super positive as season 1. So for them to just quickly be like, "Yo, you got the 3rd," is like, okay.
So I think there's a couple things at play. One, season 1 I thought was a groundbreaking piece of television in the way it handled PTSD and dealing with abuse and dealing with this character and the idea of a power. The same way that Luke Cage dealt with the idea of a superpowered black male who couldn't be beaten that way, you know, and then having a woman who also has a similar type of power who's, you know, you can't just can't just beat the shit out of Jessica Jones, really. You know what I mean? So, and so season 1 was groundbreaking. I thought season 2 struggled, but had a lot of promise to it. And I think also that season 2 may have been for some people who wasn't me. So I see the people that liked it. I think like it for reasons
because it was targeted towards that.
Me, and I can appreciate that. Yeah. So I'm down to see where season 3 goes. I like that they got a season 3 because I'm interested to see where they go now. Same showrunner, they haven't changed it.
Yeah.
So maybe she's got a plan. You know what I mean?
Again, like I said, I want
to see Rachel Taylor become the. I want to go evil. I believe that's where it's going.
Yeah, Bobby. So for those,
and I do love Rachel Taylor, Carrie Ann Moss, and Kristen Ritter. I like those 3. I want to watch those 3 women.
If you've paid attention to previous episodes, which why the fuck not? Bobby believes that what the buildup they've had is Jessica season 1 deals with a shitty relationship in a sense.
Right.
Season 2 deals with her shitty family.
Right.
And season 3 will be her shitty friendship.
Yep.
Which means Rachel Taylor, Patsy Walker, Hellcat will be her fucking bad guy.
Yeah, I think that's what happens.
But do you think her being the bad guy is a 13 episode series?
Well, I think there's a process that goes on that adds other elements, right? You have to create a larger story that's going on, something maybe citywide or some other type of element that's happening, and then this has to be the festering wound that kind of explodes over the course of the 13 episodes.
I guess, man. Again, I've been a fan of all the Marvel shows. Again, everybody knows how to fuck I feel about Iron Fist. Because that was should not happen. But nonetheless, let's switch over to DC, man. In our DC news, when we talk about the CW, officially all of the shows have been renewed for another season.
They're all making it back.
That means Arrow goes into season 7.
7 seasons of Arrow is happening.
7 seasons. Flash goes into 5. Legends goes into 4. And Supergirl goes into 4. And Black Lightning goes into 2.
Yeah.
Arrow is at 7 seasons.
That is amazing.
Let me tell you something. That's the power of a show that can persevere through. Because again, seasons 3 and 4 were struggles.
And I'll be honest with you, I've looked up the ratings for these shows because before they had gotten renewed, I was wondering, have they just fallen off completely when it comes to ratings? How they compare to other shows on the CW that have gotten renewed despite, not having the best ratings. And to be honest with you, they're still rating as good or better than a lot of the shows that are on the CW anyway. And so it's just a matter of, as long as they can afford to keep making them, they might as well churn out more of them. They've got the product there on hand. CW is actually switching to 6 nights of programming now, so they'll have a Sunday night. So if something's struggling, they can always toss it over there and see how it does with different competition.
Which show would go to Sunday?
There's a great question.
Which show go to Sunday?
I think Supergirl ends up on Sunday.
Okay.
I think Supergirl becomes a Sunday show at some point.
I think even though they're trying their damnedest with this 3rd season, it is not working.
They've got to figure out. Well, they've got to figure out what could be the next thing because the alien element is cool.
Yeah.
But they've got to figure out once the Mon-El shit is solved and over, because he's not sticking around. He's got to go back to for the future with the Legionnaire's disease. And
I mean, if they follow the comics. Yeah, if they follow it, then that's what's supposed to happen. So
Legends is strong. That's got to be a weeknight show for them. Flash is still a viable, viewable character.
I have a problem about Flash, and we'll talk about
that. I think Black Lightning has shown that it's got staying power.
Guaranteed.
So I think if anything moves, it's Supergirl.
Okay, cool.
That's my look is on that.
So let's talk about another DC TV show that has caused a little bit of ruckus.
I'm surprised that a show like this is creating such a ruckus.
Why? When the pictures came out.
Well, I got to be honest. I didn't watch a lot of the.
So look, what we're talking about
Titans.
We're talking about Titans, okay?
I never watched the Titans animated stuff.
Teen Titans.
Yeah, the Teen Titans animated. I was never a big watcher of that.
Okay.
And I know there's a generation younger than me that is, right?
Uh-huh.
So
and there's even another younger generation that's watching Teen Titans Go.
I like Robin.
Okay.
I like Superboy.
Okay.
And that's about as deep as I get into Teen Titans. Everybody else is whatever.
So
Kid Flash.
So we've seen costume photos of Robin. Brittany Thwaites as Robin. We've seen costume photos of Hawk and Dove.
Great look.
Now some set photos have come out. And
how does one look like a major production, one looks like a student film?
Of the same fucking show.
Well, here's what I think.
So if you don't know what we're talking about.
So pictures of Beast Boy, Raven, and Starfire have all been seen. I think those are not finished.
Okay.
Now, the fault is DC's for having those be the first pictures that get out.
The problem I have with Beast Boy is his skin should be green.
I'm not sure if it's done though.
You think they'll do his?
I think they'll do some stuff.
So you think they'll
Starfire? I'm into, and here's my big problem: is that there's a lot of backlash over Starfire. There are scenes from comic books where she looks like that.
That's what Starfire.
And people are tripping on her. Mostly because it's a dark skin.
Because it's a black one. Because Anna Diop is beautiful.
She's a beautiful woman. Anna Diop is gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And she's going to be great in this. And she's a good star.
And that was the way she came.
And the look is right.
That was what she did too. That's
the least issued person in all the pictures is her. And that's when we got the most backlash over how she looks, which I think is fucking ridiculous.
Because it's the same. Let's call a spade.
Racists be racist.
And let's call a spade a spade. Racists be racism. They be racism. That's just like how Zazie Beetz called Hell for being Domino.
Right. Yeah.
And it wasn't because she don't look because it was a black woman. Look,
it's so silly.
That's all. That's the majority of what it is.
It's the only reason I want aliens to come here, because I want people to be like, oh shit, I guess we got to stop all this color bullshit. We got to fight these aliens.
Because again, Anna Diop took to Instagram and Twitter to shut everybody down, and when she did, she was like, yo, since y'all want to talk about it, here's panels from the comics,
right,
where I have on the exact same outfit, and everybody was like, okay, yeah,
comic receipts.
Yo, had them receipts, baby. Drop them receipts when you need to.
With Batgirl, Joss Whedon has been off the project. They haven't had somebody to step in. They finally got somebody to take over. They've got Christina Hodson, who you might know her from Shut In or Unforgettable. She's actually taken over for Joss Whedon. It's her second go around with the character. She was hired to write a Birds of Prey script a couple years ago for DC. And now, so this is her second round. She also wrote the Bumblebee script, which is very interesting.
Yo, this is completely, you know
why this is interesting to me?
Why?
Well, the star of Bumblebee is Haley Stanfield.
Okay.
Who I think would probably make a pretty solid Batgirl. So I think this is the start of a thing here. I think this is if Christina Hodson's script plays, right? If that's a script that goes. I am going to early place my money on Haley Stanfield being Batgirl.
Okay.
They've asked her about it. Haley Stanfield said she thought that'd be super cool.
Okay.
Those are my words, not hers. She said something to that effect. But she knows about the role. She is interested in the role. At least she said that openly. I think the tie-in with Christina Hodson, if Bumblebee does well, I think that'll do well, and that's what'll happen. So.
Speaking of the Bat family, Batman, there's been a lot of talk. I've said it repeatedly that Jake Gyllenhaal will be announced as your new Batman in possibly at San Diego Comic-Con.
We've been waiting for that.
Well, Jake Gyllenhaal has said in an interview that he is not in the running to be the Cape Crusader.
Do you think that's honest, or do you think
I do not think that's honest. I think that's trying to swerve everybody off.
You think he's trying to keep people off the trail?
Yep, I think he's trying to. In my heart, I believe, because they announced somebody. There's like nobody right now that anybody can say, yeah, they're Batman.
No, there is no Batman currently.
So. No, what I'm saying is like there's no actor that's been thrown out as a name, and you be like, no, that's
Gyllenhaal's the only one that Gyllenhaal's talked about.
So I think he may be.
You think just the process of working the deal out that he's saying no right now because their deal might be stalled, that they haven't figured out what they want to do?
I think they figured out the picture amount, the amount just he's going to get in general. I think that'd be the case. Shazam, some photos. Zachary Levi took photos of Instagram to show his new buff physique. To shut
Thanks
down.
for letting us know.
Well, supposedly he's trying to again his fighting back at everybody who talks shit, love Bobby and myself, about those photos.
Mostly us, yeah.
But a lot of people did. A lot of people did because like the suit is padded up, and he was like, "No, these are my muscles. Look at my muscles. I've been working."
I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, he's strong. I get it, but it's still not as big as what the suit is portraying him as, okay?
Nope, not at all. And Henry Cavill actually tried to jump in and was like, I like what you're doing there. You know, Henry Cavill stuck up for us. So it was like, okay.
Let's be honest. A little juice got us here, okay, Zach? Don't just talk about broccoli minus carbs divided by whey protein, in which X represents the amount of
steroid.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm all for it.
We know your formula, fam.
Get there, but we also know that you got a little padding in that suit. Okay, let's just be real. It's okay. It's all right. You need a little padding.
Speaking of Shazam, his arch nemesis BlackAdam, Dwayne Johnson says that the script is in and they're working on it and they're hoping for a 2019 production. He said that it's intrinsically, tied to the other DC properties. Because remember, so here's the bullshit I call.
Specifically, not in Shazam though. So.
Here's the bullshit I call. So when he first was tagged, he was tied on to be involved in this project. He said it's not going to be in the DCEU.
Right.
Was the first thing. Then as time went on, it might be.
now he's going to have an extended cameo in Suicide Squad 2.
Now he's the bad guy.
Right.
He's what they're chasing in Suicide Squad 2. And so now it's intrinsically tied.
Right.
It's possible.
I thought it was interesting the way he worded it. He said the script isn't in, they're working on it, which means that they may not be done completely with what they got out of it. Adam Steichel is the one who was writing it. He said it's in. He said it's in. So the script has been turned in, but they're still working on it, which means they're not necessarily completely done with what they got out of it. So who knows where it's going to end up when it's all said and done. I hope it gets done next year. They've been talking about this for like a decade now, so... Let's get it filming, man.
And speaking of Aquaman, the film that will be dropping for everybody around Christmas time. Yay, don't you want to go see more movies?
That's right. DC has movies coming out this year.
Yes, they do. They have Aquaman.
DC has movie coming out this year.
Movie. Aquaman. Randall Park from Fresh Off the Boat and Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is very interesting about that.
Doing double duty.
He has been tagged. He has been tapped to play Dr. Shin. He's joining the cast officially. It was announced by director James Wan. Now, Dr. Shin is the doctor that Tom Curry comes to help Arthur understand his powers.
Right.
In the process, Dr. Shin becomes obsessed with learning about Atlantis.
Which I like Randall Park. He'll be one of the few people that gets to pull double duty on both movies, or on both sides of the fence, the DC and Marvel side. I think he's playing a small enough character in these movies that they're just letting it slide.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
He doesn't carry as much weight in any of these to be a big deal.
To be something that they're like, oh shit, why is he in both?
Yeah, he's really just tied to those individual movies for the most part, and not stuck in a lot of other stuff. So I'm okay with that.
All right, let's go over to our TV side of everything. First off, let's do some of the recaps of the DC TV side, the Belantiverse, as we call it, the Arrowverse. Legends of Tomorrow season finale. Now, I kind of like how they ended this. It was some weird things.
We get down to the end of the Dark storyline, which is important.
We're done with Damien Dark.
He's over for sure.
Is he, though?
I mean, his body was consumed by malice.
But remember at the very end, Ray gave Nora the stone to possibly bring him back.
Well, you could always go back in time to a time before he was taken away. Yes. There is room for more. I mean, I will always leave the door open for Neil McDonough.
I will always leave that door.
In fact, I sometimes leave my front door unlocked with a sign out front that just says, only come in if you're Neil McDonough.
And not Neil McDonough from Captain America's First Avenger.
No.
Amaya is officially left the ship.
Yeah, she's gone. So they get to the end of this. They defeat Malice, which we'll talk about how they defeat him in just a second. But yeah, this season was really all about dealing with this totem situation, right? Amaya's kind of been with them since the start of this totem things first kicked off when they first,
the JLA.
She stuck on there with the JLA and has been a part of this whole deal. So it's good to see a change up in this. They've moved her on. You don't need that many people that actually use a totem type of thing anymore. So Wazari there, I think that saves her.
And they brought back some of the people from earlier in the season to help. Helena Troy, which again we get another solid Themyscira reference.
A good Themyscira reference.
A solid one, boy. She's
been training with the women of Themyscira, and now she can whoop some ass.
And it wasn't like one of those subtle, an island full of warrior women. It was Themyscira for real.
For real Themyscira. We also got another buddy back.
We got back the black half of Firestorm.
Hell yeah.
But the fact that
he talks like he's from West Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, it would be my fault that I got hurt. Because I didn't listen to you and your infinite wisdom. I am sorry, Professor.
Exactly. But he's really British.
Yeah, I definitely knew who he was. I'd read a couple of the comics.
It's the black half of Firestorm.
Well, like my coach always said, out of yourself and into the team.
Here on the Trusty Sidekick podcast.
Okay. He wasn't Firestorm. He's just Jax, who's a family man.
He was just Philly Jax.
He's just Philly Plump
Philly Jax daddy. Yeah, I ain't been jogging Jax.
I ain't been running. I ain't been doing shit. I just been getting diapers. That's all he been doing. And also,
have you seen my baby, yo?
Yo, you see my baby Sarah? It's been 5 years. You understand? 5 years y'all been gone, and I now got a baby. My baby out here ain't flaming or nothing.
I got a flame-free baby.
I get to live my life like Gray wanted me to. You know what I'm saying? Without a flaming baby. One of the cute things that happened in this was that Rip Hunter. Well, I said Rip Hamilton. Lord have mercy. Why the Detroit Pistons in my damn head?
Just Rip Hamilton dropped 22 points in the Legends season finale.
Rip Hunter sacrificed himself to do what he thought would help stop Malice, and it did not. And there's news that Arthur Darvill may not be gone.
Of course, yeah. Guggenheim implied the known rule, one of my favorite rules: no body, no death.
But this motherfucker, he's vaporized from a nuclear explosion.
Swallowed him up.
You fucking tell me if that motherfucker come back just like, hey y'all, how you doing? What happened? Man, I've been chilling in Aruba.
He could have been another dimension somewhere. He could have been, who knows where he was. I did like the way the season ended with Constantine showing up with a giant dragon head.
It was like, y'all fucking up everything.
So many other things came out of that when you pulled Malice out of there. I like how they about how Malice corrected him when he goes, it's not Malice, it's Malice.
He's like,
M-A-L-I-C-E.
it's not he was like, it's not Malice. He's like, my name is Malice. He's like, oh, that's what I've been saying, right? So let's talk about this big thing that happened. One of the major things. So again, the whole season was predicated on the 6 totems.
Yeah.
And after a while, people started to catch on. Was like, wait, 6 totems? Is it?
This is the second time they've done this now.
They were like, isn't this similar to 6 Infinity? We'll see.
Yeah.
And so throughout the episode, they kept bringing up Voltron. I was like, oh my God, if they turn into Voltron, I'm going to love it. And so they figured out how to unite the power of the 6 totems, and they turned into a giant ass Bebo.
Yeah, they turned into a giant They combined together to form a giant Bebo, which is, I think, excellent Marvel trolling, by the way. This is the second time they've done this. The first time was a couple years ago, just before Civil War happened. Everybody had been teasing this giant fight that was going to happen in Civil War. Everyone talked about how Ant-Man was going to become Giant Man in Civil War, and they wouldn't even show it in the trailers. If you remember, they would not show him get bigger in the trailers. It was like, will he, won't he? That was a big question. I remember us talking about that, going like, ooh, does he become Giant Man? I'm pretty sure that's a question we asked going into this, going into that movie. And a week before that, the Atom, who is basically the DC version of Ant-Man, turned big for the first time to fight a robot. Literally a week before Ant-Man came out.
And so
before Civil War came out.
And they did it this time a week before, 2 weeks before Avengers Infinity War comes out.
Yeah.
Do you think that the writers in the Legends room are waiting on every Marvel big event and seeing what the culmination is supposed to be?
Yeah.
And predicating their season finales on that?
I have a feeling that once you find out what Avengers 4 is going to be about, that season of Legends is going to have something that fucks with it just a little bit, which I think is great. Because Legends is the most ridiculous show. It's the most campy show that DC has, and so for the silliest DC show to take its pot shots at the biggest Marvel event, I think it's just a fun running gag that they're having fun with over at Legends, which is great.
Let's talk about the Flash.
Yeah.
So null and annoyed, literally nulled and annoyed the fuck out of me. I just didn't care. Null was so tiny. She's
such a weak power.
Oh my God!
I'll just make you float up for a while, and then it wears off, and then you come crashing down.
Okay.
This was obviously a vehicle to explain a couple of things and to move a couple things forward.
Which were
showing that Marlize was not the person who was. She's not as tied in as you thought she was. You have to create an element here for Cisco to have a reason to leave.
Yeah, because also they are highly. This is what I wanted to talk about earlier.
Caitlin wasn't even on the fucking show this week. There's no room for you got Ralph, you got Cisco, you got Caitlin. Iris is now running the booth in there. Wells is running around.
You got Joe,
Flash, Joe. I mean, somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to get on the goddamn wave rider.
Here's my problem. I would put Killer Frost on the wave rider. Cisco was supposed,
and then her and Wally can have a thing.
Well, Wally's gonna be boning Zari. That's pretty much self-explanatory. If she don't start boning
Jonah Hex.
Yeah, because that looked like that was.
How do you kiss around that thing though? How you?
I'll tell you, ma'am. You just kiss on the other cheek. You don't kiss where the hole is unless you're that freaky. And this is coming from a dude who had a hole in his neck. All right. I just think they should really. Cisco was utilized so much more in the first after the first season was like, okay, what does he do?
Right.
Seasons 2 and 3, you were like, yo, he is a pivotal part of this show, not just the team, the show. And season 4 has strayed away from that, and now we're focusing so much on Dibney, and they're forcing Dibney down your throat.
They really want Dibney and him to be together. Now maybe Dibney's the guy who ends up leaving when it's all said and done. Flash has done a decent job of prepping guys to get him out of there.
Just kill him. Yo, if you could stab him, I would be so happy.
I could see him leaving once his arc is over, because this season has been kind of about his arc in this character and the bus meta thing. I do like the idea of them breaking down that Marlize was not necessarily as involved.
Yo, she started recording. You are not. Clifford has been drugging you. Please remember. And then she realized she saved it over.
Oh my God, it's saved?
And she was like, how many times I done saved it? And we was like, look, every time it's the new lemonade recipe.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, I think this was just a waste of an episode, just trying to point out that you need to improvise sometimes.
I think it was a waste of Danny Trejo. You brought Danny Trejo in just to wiggle his fingers and go.
Every line from him is such a struggle. I just keep waiting. I'm just like, will he actually get through these lines? This is amazing.
You know, I think you
on another universe. My daughter is still working right now.
So you should join the agency.
Be a breacher.
Be the new breacher. Like
Siski.
Like
you know that he messed it up on accident on purpose. That is not a thing that was written into a script.
No.
Danny Trejo thought his name was Siski, called him Siski, and nobody told him different. They thought it was funny. Now it's what's going on.
Because they were like, nobody,
I would bet the farm on that.
Because nobody wanted to make Danny Trejo upset. Okay, yeah. How do you want to tell Danny Trejo, Mr. Trejo, you fucking up? No. Next thing you know, he pulling out knives and shit.
So should Siski leave?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let him and Vibe start the agency. Let them do that. If you're not going to do it, put it on CWC.
Dude, that would be awesome.
Put it on CWC.
Yeah,
CWC.
And then he could just show up. I mean, I'm fine with people just showing up every once in a while when they're needed. I think it's even better that way.
Yeah.
Let him do CWC, have him show up every once in a while and appear, and just be back for that. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I'd rather see that. What arguably is the best show in the entire Arrowverse. Well, sorry, not Arrowverse. The best show
for now
in the DC TV universe.
I think it's one of the best superhero shows on TV right now.
Yeah, the most solid storyline.
I think Black Lightning's take on a successful Black American family. And them dealing with their powers and how they still kind of come together in the end. I think it's one of the best versions that you're going to see of this. And I think the character's interesting. There's still a lot of questions to be answered as to what's going on with all the magic shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a very high mix of like super sci-fi, we're collecting heroes or get people with powers shit, and some very voodoo, back from the dead, death is only an illusion type shit.
Like, they mix both, because now you got a lot. Yo, the devil deals the cards.
The devil deals the cards. So Tobias has been behind this the whole time.
And that mug had Lala shook like shit. He was like, the devil deals. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I literally watched my TV and went, you bitch. Because...
Well, look, fam, your name's Lala, okay?
Yo, when we see Tobias, he's back. I think we find out Tobias has been working with Proctor.
Right. Tobias is taking Eve's spot now.
Yeah, so he's in the Shadow Council.
He's in the Shadow Council now.
And yo, he had to tell dude, you know, I'm using my tongue wisely because I don't know how things go just yet.
Yeah, I do like how Tobias is saying, like, I'm willing to test where my respect level is.
Yeah.
But he also tells Lala he wants to fucking take Proctor out. Even higher in the Shadow Council.
When that Mog had the bodyguard in, was like, yo, I want to thank you for getting me out to safety. And man, I appreciate it. Dude was like, hey man, whatever. You know, I do what I got to do for you, brother. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, I really appreciate that. But you left my sister to die. That nigga was like, oh, Frank.
Popped that motherfucker and then left him there. Wasn't even like clean this shit up. He just went and sat down like, dead body in my office. Don't give a fuck.
Part of the feng shui. So Anissa and Cyanide go head to head.
Yeah.
First of all, here's the problem I have. First of all,
yes.
So Proctor sends the new Khalil.
Right. Spine implant Khalil.
With the worst fucking dread wig in history, nigga. Oh,
he sends Scorpion back. Why is it always dreads or long hair as a sign of a new person? Why is it always got to be? I mean, I bet that shit runs all the way up his back, which is why he's got the hair. But why has it got to be?
You know, that man could have got long fingernails. As far as I'm concerned. He did not need. Got them Meg Griffins. I don't.
So they send Khalil and Tobias Will to take them with Cyanide at the school.
In the school.
Right.
In broad daylight. And then who comes walking down the hallway but Thunder and Black Lightning? Here was my number one problem.
How many times has Jefferson Pierce and his daughter Anissa walked down that same hallway together?
I don't give a fuck about them walking. This is the only 6'6" nigga in Freeland. How did you not know
That's
that?
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. These people been walking through these halls for years. You don't know who these people are?
This nigga.
Because she got her hair pulled back?
I was like, are you? I said, are
you saw when she had to finally let her breath go and then Sinai started whipping her ass?
Sinai paid attention. She was like, oh, this bitch gotta breathe. And she went, and it was slow. It was like, what'd you do? Do the exhale again, Bobby. Do it again.
Every time she's about to do some shit.
And Sinai started fucking her. Also, here was another problem I had. When Thunder and Black Lightning, not Anissa and Jefferson, when Thunder and Black Lightning are walking down the hallway,
gotta maintain the secrecy.
Jennifer's ass runs past and goes, Dad! Like,
hey, Dad!
How in the fuck did nobody else hear that? And then he was like, go. She was, but Dad!
I don't think she got her dad out the second time. I think she said but. I think once again she says but. I don't think she says dad.
I don't give a fuck. She said dad loud.
Oh shit!
I'd have zapped the shit out of my child.
How do you feel about her being able to jumpstart it?
I knew
they foreshadowed that earlier.
When she was like,
talked about this was going to be a
when
thing.
she said when Lynn did run the test on her, and Lynn said she's a generator, just like Jefferson.
I think even this is a foreshadowing of something that's going to happen in the finale. I think in the finale you're going to really need her to like power him up. Like, if you can just give me this super boost, I can knock out the whatever.
So in other words, the daughter has to be the crack dealer.
She got to juice this nigga. She got to.
Hey, baby, little baby girl, daddy just need another hit. Daddy need a hit, baby girl.
They all got to hold their breath together. Season finale will be tomorrow night, Tuesday night. Season finale. Jill Scott has hinted that Lady Eve may not be gone for good.
I hope to God that is true.
Remember, death is just an illusion
in all these shows. You know? So, man,
Arrow.
Yo, he is literally by himself now.
It's an odd change. I think this is weird because
I think I know where this is going though.
He had learned this lesson that being alone was not the right thing to be.
Yeah, but he fucks up. He's not trying. Here's the thing: he wasn't trying to be alone.
Right.
His actions made him alone.
Right.
And so the opening kicks off, and all of a sudden you see arrows. And you're like, wait, is that the
original suit?
I was talking. First of all, I was like, ain't that bitch in lockup?
Got your short sleeve in this nigga.
I was like, nigga, ain't that shit in lockup?
Right. I thought that was taken by the police.
It's in evidence. Like, when did
Quentin Lance was like, I'll slip you the old. Hey, man. Hey, like, don't worry about it. I'll slip you the old.
Hey, man, I know you.
And then I gotta go 10 bar at Moe's. Why Quentin Lance said he sounded
like
Moe's
Sizzlack?
Hey, Alan, back when you was putting on the hood, it was just fine. I used to get you a Duff beer. It was no big deal. I fucked Charlotte Ross for a year too. I made this Laurel Lance kid. I'm the captain of police. Now I'm gonna be the mayor. Hey, homie, how you doing? How are you all the same person? And you British, dog. And you British. How do you feel about the opening though? The flash forward.
Oh shit.
Hey, Laurel, you used to be a lawyer before you got killed in the other life you was in. You want to read these books?
Oh, shit. This mug is going through the police station. And this is old school Oliver. Like, not
just
only
arrowing niggas in the chest.
With the eye makeup, dog.
Yeah, with the eye, no mask. Straight eye makeup. This nigga's in warrior mode.
It's in kill, murder mode. This nigga's in no limit soldier
mode.
Then
they go back to real time and you see him start to progress through the early part of the day and you see how this happens. He goes and meets with Cullens.
You just think it's like, okay, you kind of think Cullens is shady. You don't know what happens. All of a sudden,
Turns out Ollie starts freaking out.
But you never know what's going on.
Until you get too deep into it. Until after already Adrian Chase has appeared back on the scene.
And then shot this nigga twice.
Shot this motherfucker straight up.
And I was like, yo.
Of course, they had to break some more shit in the lair because every week this nigga's destroying shit in this goddamn lair. Holy shit, the bills on that alone. How, at some point, somebody's going to be like, God damn, your goddamn computer bills is high as shit.
Somebody going to be like, yo, who the fuck keeps ordering all these glass cases? So, yo, who the fuck bought 30 glass cases?
Right? Every fight's got to go through some glass
shit. It was dope on that.
So Ali ends up struck with vertigo, so he ends up seeing Adrian Chase. He sees Reza get killed.
Oh, yo, she got shanked. Yo, I was like, oh, he killed Reza.
He gets end up in a catch-22 where he gets the news on how to prove that that he should be clear that Diaz is the problem, but also it puts him in a tough spot as to how he got it.
It's like, yo, if you tell, it's like, oh, it proves I'm the Green Arrow.
Yeah. How do you feel? I mean, should he give up this mayor bullshit? I think it's time, right?
Yeah, but here's my problem. If Oliver Queen gives up being the mayor,
right?
Felicity don't technically have a job because we don't see her work no more.
She's got her startup company, let her do her startup shit. Ollie's got the old Queen consolidated money, right?
No, he don't. He broke. Remember in season 2,
she's got to work a little jizzy, work a little jizz.
Welcome to Best Buy. Can I help you?
Yeah.
Oliver, come over here. This person needs help with their computers.
Come on, what do you want? There he's got set aside. I don't think he needs to be mayor. I think it complicates the show more when he's got the level. I mean, it's just one. He's always going to be at risk for his secret identity. That's always going to be the underlying issue if he's also got to be the mayor. I think something else for him would be fine.
I mean, they ran that angle in the comic books. I think it's run its course, especially with like we just said earlier, the announcement of them getting season 7.
I think too many people know that he's Oliver for him to keep being the mayor all the time. Like, of course, all your enemies are going to come for you when they see you being the mayor of a fucking city, you idiot. Like, you're supposed to be hiding in the shadows, you dummy. Why do you think Bruce Wayne does so well?
Because he does cocaine.
Now, he has gone to the solo move. Do you think it's the right thing for him to do? Do you think it's going to hold up for very long?
Nope.
No.
Because I think what's going to happen is, that was what I was going to bring up earlier. I think the thing is, everyone leaves him until the culmination where the whole team comes back
to support him to save his ass.
Like, because they're like, yo, you're changing. You're trying to do this. Especially now that he's not mayor anymore.
Yeah.
Because remember, he's been impeached.
Yeah, he's been impeached.
Which, by the way, I want to bring this up real quick again.
Very much reflecting what's happening in real life.
Literally, the conversation he had with Cullens was reflective of what's going on today. I was like,
a very low key, subtle attempt that was right in your face.
Yes, it was. But I think it's just that's how the season is going to go. Again, Ricardo Diaz has been a great villain for one reason alone. You did not have to have superpowers with him.
Yeah.
You did not have to have anything magical, any enhancements. He knows how to fight, but he is a crime lord, and we've needed that. Merlin, we didn't, he was a trained assassin. Slade Wilson he had the Mirakuru, still one of my best seasons. Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul, or whatever it is, Al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul was Ra's al Ghul. Damien Dark was magic and all that. Adrian Chase was good.
I thought that was solid.
And the way they built it. But this one you have, the Caden James was just to buy you time.
Yeah, I like how it was the way that I like series to go, where you have a guy that you think is going to be your main problem, and he fades away and reveals who the real problem is.
Well, they did that because they did that last season with Tobias. What was it?
No, with oh god.
No, I'm trying to think. What was it? His name was Tobias something.
Yeah, but it wasn't
Tobias Church.
Tobias Church.
Tobias Church. That's what I was like. It was a Tobias.
A lot of Tobias is going on.
With Tobias Church, how they had Chad O'Coleman.
Right.
You thought he was the dude, then Prometheus killed him.
Right.
And so I like what they've done with this. Now, back is the question, I will admit, because we were going to talk about, like, Colton Hayden's comes back, so Roy's
He's going to
back.
be a series regular next season. How do you think that affects this team?
This nigga's supposed to be dead, first and foremost.
Well, he left with...
He's left, but he's supposed to be dead. That's the only reason they found him to bring him. Well, the reason he left was because Argus faked his death.
Right.
Because he admitted he was the Arrow.
Sure, right.
So that's going to be weird. Like, how do you bring him back and explain? Yo,
well, it depends on how he integrates into real life. But I think the thing that happens is Diggle's talked a lot about leaving Team Arrow. I think I don't know if David Ramsey's coming back next year. I'm not sure.
I think he'll be back.
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he's got a gig doing something else. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. I like the idea of Colton Haynes, Diggle, and Arrow running together. I think that'd be cool. with Smoke kind of sitting behind the terminal, they could axe these other characters for all I care.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens, but as it goes
Throw
forward,
Renee off the Wave Rider.
yo, shoot Renee in the face. Like, look, get an armor-piercing bullet, shoot it right in that hockey mask. I know it sounds cruel. I know it's like he got a daughter, but she'll be better off with another father. Like, I just don't like Renee. I don't like Wild Dog. Bobby's favorite show.
Yes.
Before we go, let's talk about Krypton real quick. I want to get this out the way.
All right.
One of the biggest things we have here is the way Brainiac is being introduced, one, and the show does feel a little bit Game of Thronesy.
I like it.
The Zod, how Zod.
I'm kind of into what they're doing right now. First of all, they're going into a lot more. This is a study on class systems, right? Like,
yeah.
Who has and who hasn't, who's already spoken for, and what that life is like, and whether that's a good thing or not. I like how it's studying that. Obviously, you see this. I do like the Game of Thronesy feel to it. The whole Rao thing is weird and interesting. I'm not sure how long that'll hold up.
Yeah, because it's like the only reason I know about Rao now, because I didn't remember in the comics. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a very big Superman comics fan, but we've heard about Rao so much in Supergirl.
Right.
So now
between Rao and Admiral Fukuyama from Legion, I don't know who is the weirder person in a fucking weird hat, you know? Yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, I don't expect Lita Zod to die, even though they've already got her as the person who's got to take responsibility for the failure of the Rankless Initiative when they were hunting down Black Zero. You know, I that whole shit with Brainiac attacking Rom was kind of crazy. I like the introduction of Brainiac so far. It looks like a badass.
They're doing
villain.
Brainiac very well.
Yeah. I've been surprised by this series so far in the 4 episodes or whatever that we've got. It's been surprisingly
and they say
good.
this fifth one is the one I've heard that's going to change everything.
So I've been excited about that. Krypton's not bad.
Now let's go to Bobby's favorite show,
Gotham.
What in all of the blue hell? Alfred decides to spend Bruce's money basically to buy Bruce his first Batmobile, right? The car's it's matte black with white lights, which really is weird. It's got the regular lights. It's bulletproof, but there's a small problem about the car.
It's just a Ford Mustang.
It's a Mustang.
It's just a regular old Ford. It's a 5-liter Ford Mustang, which is it's a V8, but it's not like a Bullet or one of the other, it's not the 350 GT. It's just a regular old Ford Mustang. I don't know what's so great. I think we talked about this earlier, and what I told Jay was, for me, this is an example of how inverted this show is, because what seems like a normal real car to us is going to look like an insane car to the people of Gotham if they see it driving around, right? Like a basic Ford Mustang is so out of place in this universe. So that's, to me, is just another way of them saying, this is a weird place. Nothing is normal here. The lady's hair from that council meeting that they had, there's just everybody's hair is from it's like Willy Wonka era type of shit going on, but modern car.
Let's go. Since we're going to Willy Wonka crazy shit, we officially have the Joker.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's been a few episodes since we had I get it from Jay.
I get it.
Yeah.
But it took us all this time to swerve everybody and say, no, he's not the Joker. No, he's not the Joker. No, he's not the Jerome.
Right.
Jerome is not the Joker.
Right.
Jerome is not the Joker.
Just to have it be his twin brother.
So
still Valeska.
It still
still Jay Valeska.
It's the same dude playing him.
Same guy. Better makeup.
Because all of a sudden
that makeup at the end looked legit. It wasn't a cut face. It was like the toxin made him look like that.
It turned his face white.
It was solid. The look is good. I think I am with you in the agreement that I like the idea that I like Joker without the story. I like him without an origin because I don't want to know why he's crazy. I like the unknown craziness.
And
I think it takes away from the character.
I don't think there's many people out there that really want to know, because again, we're getting a Joker origin movie
with Joaquin Phoenix. Maybe
again, who knows?
It's a different story every day.
But no one wants to know. Again, the Killing Joke went on that thing of he could be a failed stand-up comic. That's why he jokes. Blah blah blah. But nobody cared. It was always that mystery behind the Joker. Why are you so maniacal? What happened to make you this way? We don't know, but we just see what you do.
Right. And in a way, they do take away the Joker origin story because you don't really know about Jeremiah's growing up. He was adopted. He became super smart. That's all you know.
Which
There's no other information.
But that actually works because the Joker is super smart.
Right.
He's a genius.
There's a method to the madness, which is what's important to
I get
the other side story going on is the underlying Ra's al Ghul storyline, which is how the season is going to end. The season will end with a Ra's al Ghul issue. That's the rest of what this season is going to be about. Barbara Gordon feels it's her destiny.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Tabitha's been kicked to the curb.
There's
a whole other Al Ghul who's fighting for the title that's going to go down.
There's 2 different leagues.
There's a 2-league. It's a 2-league system.
This is gonna be so fucking weird.
Somehow Bruce will end up in the middle of all this. Of course
he will.
Of course, because try to get him to the Lazarus
He'll leave.
pits.
He'll leave, and he'll go train with them. And
Right, and that's how you'll get him out of here. I think it's.
All right, let's go.
Let's get to the Marvel side.
Let's get to the Marvel side so we can get up out of here. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., man. They are really teasing that this is leading directly into Infinity War.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most confident, how confident are you that this is going to dovetail into Infinity War? Now, there's 3 more episodes after the day. There's an episode that comes out on the day Infinity War comes out, and then there's still 3 more episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after.
I think... I see. Here's the only problem. If it does, and if it's going to, it was going to based off its original release date.
Right.
So people will look for it the same. That's the same week it drops, the 27th. It won't be if. Actually, that may be the episode, or if they take a week off.
I think that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is comfortable with the idea of some people not getting to see Infinity War right away. Or the tie-in may be partially there, and then maybe some other side story or something that fills out the last 3 or something like that. But I'm going to say I'm at a 7 right now as far as my confidence.
I think about an 8.
I'm at a 7 right now. I could see no problem with them still having episodes that tie in throughout from there or whatever the case may be. The season finale definitely was shot in Los Angeles. They were shooting downtown for the season finale, so who knows how that ends. But there's a lot of destruction going on, so who knows how it may tie in when that's all done. Do you think they're going to be able to change the timeline? I mean, that's what this season has really been about. What are your thoughts on that? Because they're running around like they can't die. And that means they believe that Daisy is going to blow up the planet at some point.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
So, I mean, I don't think they. I think you can. I think they can change the timeline
because they know how.
Can happen. I think it can happen, and I think it'll make it even more.
I think gravitonium is going to be the way you can change the timeline.
Well, the penultimate episode is basically the formula for gravity. It's the name of the episode is the chemical formula for gravity. So that's going to play a big part of it. But I also think it's only going to seem more incredible that they haven't died in the way that they go about not caring about death. I think when they get to when they do finally change time and realize that they could have died at any one of those times that they felt like they couldn't because they weren't able to, I think that'll make it even a bigger deal when that happens.
It's very weird what they're doing.
I like it. I like the
I like it.
It's really caught up because remember 4 episodes in, they're out in space and you're like, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure where, and now I'm here with it.
It's all again. They've got it to come full circle.
Deke being known. It's known now that Deke is their grandson.
Everybody, it's out in the open. And he's got the hots for Daisy.
Because everybody was looking like. First of all, they told him like, what? Huh? How in the fuck? Like. Because it was like, yeah, basically that's what proves we get out.
Yeah, right.
He's alive. And then Deke was like, Deke even had that minute, was like, he looked, he was like, but if y'all fuck up, I'm gone instantly.
Right.
So the Hots of Daisy, I saw that coming.
Yeah.
I saw that building up. That was a long way. That was all right. Ruby, I don't know what they're going to do with Ruby. Because the other dude.
She wants to be the destroyer of worlds.
the Strucker.
Yeah.
I think something's going to happen between them.
I like how they brought him back.
Something's gonna happen with them too.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting. I think Ruby kills her mother. Yeah. Or her mother kills her.
Well, now Talbot has been asked to comply, so he's going to be complying. He's going to be inside the apparatus now, so we'll see how he fucks things up.
Talbot is hilarious.
Adrian Pasdar is so good
because he plays like he's out his mind. But it's like...
yeah, he's such a great actor.
It's so amazing. So let's go to the craziest out of the mind show of them all.
Do you know what's happening on this show?
Does anybody aside the writers know what's happening? We're talking about Legion.
Oh my God, it's so crazy. It's so bonkers.
The Shadow King is now. The Shadow King is on full display.
He's letting himself out there.
It's not this fat blob we saw season 1. We find out he's looking for his physical body.
He needs his physical form,
which was hidden by a Migo monk. First of all, I had to rewind that a couple times.
The Migos monks.
I was like, the Migos.
Offset got your body.
I was like, took off with your body. Like somebody had your body and was like, walk it like I talk it.
I put my body on the Offset.
Put your body in the grave though. It's bad and boozy.
So Amal Farouk is out looking for his body. He at one point had David Haller. At one point he had David Haller working with him to try and get the body.
Which you don't even know what is real or not.
Yeah, there's a point when they end up in the facility when Oliver and Aubrey Plaza are like turning people into dust and into pigs and shit. I didn't know that was real at first. I'm
First
like,
of all,
there?
And they were just singing and dancing through the hallway.
There's a lot of dancing in this series so far.
Yo, the dance off in episode 1,
dude. How about Bill Irwin when he was plugging the different plugs in there? Now Bill Irwin is a vaudeville comedian, right? He's actually a clown. So that scene where he's plugging in the different plugs,
he's like,
and he's dancing around.
Yeah.
It was so good, man. The way they use dance to kind of push mood here is big.
Yo, like even the fact of what they're doing with that and with Oliver fucking up Carrie and Carrie.
What is this Division 3 shit, dude?
So
what's up with these two mustachioed lady android
three.
And this Admiral Fukuyama who be wearing a wicker basket. Take your basket off and talk to me,
I'm really
nigga.
beginning to believe that Admiral Fukuyama does not have a face.
What is going on, dude?
I really believe he don't have a face.
They do play with color a lot in this show. Vermilion was the name of one of the androids. They have blue lights around. These characters are wearing red pants. The John Hamm voiceover in episode 2 about perception, where he talks about teaching a kid the difference between red and green, and how kind of that plays out.
That shit was amazing. Red means go, green means stop.
And that's how you drive madness into people by changing perception. And the ones who you can fool with perception, which means you can make them mad. Which so much of this series is about color, right? If you look in the first series, the Shadow King was largely engrossed in red. All the scenes had red. Now in Division 3, everything's kind of blue. And so there's this thing. And then when you see future Sid, there's a different color being used there.
Also, before we go there, did you pay attention to the scene where they basically referenced about Farouk and Xavier having the battle before?
Yeah.
Without saying, he was like, my father.
Yeah.
And
my father fought him.
Yeah. And the problem is, a lot of people don't know who his dad is yet.
They haven't figured that out.
And I think, I was talking to some people about this before we recorded. I think they're going to bring in Patrick Stewart. Because he's been doing TV anyway.
That'd be great. Carrie references Shi'ar technology at one point in this. How about Oliver fucking up Carrie so that they were split into two? He inverted them. And
and like Carrie doesn't know what the fuck.
She does not like to be on the outside.
She hates this. She's like,
I'm just here for the fighting. That's it.
She's like, why the fuck? I got to live like this.
There's also something called the Miser Sunday. We're gonna have to find out about at some point. No one knows what it is,
dude,
or who it is.
There's so much that happens in this episode.
I'm hoping it all comes together. I believe Noah Hawley will bring this all back into something. He wants season 2 to be a little bit more comic based, so hopefully we'll get some more of that stuff. I like that fight between David and the Shadow King where they're wrestling and then they turn into tank and then into smoke. It's so like the symbolism that goes on is so
and
cool.
the fact that they're just sitting there the whole time
they're just sitting there staring at each other.
They're just sitting there staring at each other.
This is a thing going on inside the minds, and how Farouk is like it's reality is up to you to decide. I think that's amazing. So
that is a crazy,
and that's part of what they're trying to get across is that reality is perception. So. It's a wild show. I'm not sure where it's going, but I'm jacked for whatever's happening next.
Man, I've been here for this season. Like I said, I had to sit back and watch it, and I was like, "Oh, this shit is just crazy."
Yeah,
it is really so wild. So before we get up out of here, I put on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter at Mr. J Washington, I'll repeat it again. I've got people that bring some questions in. It was a last minute thing because I want to interact with some of the fans. So shouts out to Dave_Gooder. He says, do you think there's a chance of Chris Evans coming back after 5 years or so as an older Cap then runs for president in Marvel?
Do I think it's possible? Sure, I think it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen unless they throw a whole lot of money at Chris Evans. But I don't think that's a requirement for Marvel. I think they've got so many characters. I think
they don't need to bring him back.
I would like to see Chris Evans come back. I think that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessary for me, though. I think they could hand that off to somebody else or reboot that or change something. Or once they get a hold of the X-Men, they can change all of history and time altogether and reboot everything if they want to and start all over, and no one can say anything about it. So,
True.
What do you think?
I don't think it's no need to. Your plan 5 years down the line has no reason to, because if you bring him back, then you have to tease him getting into action at one point in time.
Yeah, and I think you're just going backwards instead of forwards, which is the wrong way.
So our next question and last question comes from Andrew_Butts on Twitter. He says, can we call Shuri's Panther guns the Garu cannons?
Dude, let's do that.
Why will we not?
Why are we not doing that already?
I think because we didn't get a chance to name it, because by the time she had got done with them, she immediately had to put them to work.
Yeah.
So I think
they'll get a name at some point.
They'll get a name eventually, and she'll get her suit too. So
I'm jacked about all that.
So again, follow us on Twitter at Sidekick Trusty and use the hashtag Trusty Sidekick Podcast. Leave us your questions, man. We will probably get them on air and shout you out while we are recording this. So we want to get more of the fans involved with the show, man. Thank you to all of the fans that have been, part of us, that have tweeted us, that have talk to us, Facebook, whatever. We're doing a lot more stuff, trying to stay more interactive. So we got to do it for you, and we just need you guys to, help us out a little bit.
You got anything big going on this week?
This week, this Sunday, I will be a part of the Broke LA Fest. It was formerly known as Brochella. It's going down Sunday at the Regency.
They get sued?
They got a cease and desist. Yep. I'll be at the Broke LA Fest Sunday. I think it's like between 6:45 and 8, but it's at the Regency Theater. If you don't get a chance to come to see me till later, go early and see all the great comedians that are performing. It's an all weekend fest. You can get the weekend pass for $25.
That's almost nothing.
That's nothing. So $25 can see that. You'll definitely see me there. I will be doing a lot of different stuff this week, thankfully. So I will be on the Young Turks Network doing Nerd Alert with doing Nerd Alert with Kim Horchata tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Which you got? If you don't get this tonight, you will hear it tomorrow on Tuesday. So look for me on the Nerd Alert.
Kim Horchata?
Yeah, Horchata. Yep. Horchata.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, we'll be on Nerd Alert with that. I will be with Jason Inman again and Ashley V. Robinson for the season finale Black Lightning review. So I'll be doing that. I got some other stuff coming up. I'm supposed to be working out with Ryan Sands from Runaways. So we're trying to finish that.
Yeah, let's get him over here too.
Yeah, he's. I've told him he needs to come do this before because they get ready to start second season.
Oh yeah, we gotta get him in before that starts.
Yeah, they get ready to start production on that. But other than that, man, for everything, please find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MrJayWashington. Bobby, what's going on with you?
I've got some stuff going on this week, but nothing I can actually share with everybody right now. So we're just going to keep some of those things under wrap. But you can always stay up to date with everything I've got going on at itsbobbyhill.com. You can follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram at mocha_Jesus, or you can find me on Facebook at Bobby Hill Comedy. I respond to just about anybody who reaches out, and that's pretty much it for us.
Oh, make sure you find us on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter at Sidekick Trusty, Instagram at Trusty Sidekick Pod. Email us, trustysidekickpod@gmail.com. With that being said, we wrapped up episode 79 of the Trusty Sidekick Podcast with me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J Washington.
And me, your resident superhero, Bobby Hill.
We will holler at you guys next week. Until then, take care. We are out of here. Peace.
That's what's up.
Laugh Factory Network.